Right, so it's 2025 and you need to get started in wildlife photography. Whether you've picked up a camera before or never once in your life, this is the perfect opportunity to get out there and start making some images. Hi, my name's Tom Mason. I'm a professional wildlife and nature photographer from the UK. I've been shooting images professionally for more than a decade and just love being out in the natural world photographing wildlife. I've worked from the Arctic to the Amazon rainforest, but one thing I love to do is get people started on their own journey into wildlife photography because I think it adds a huge amount of value to people's lives. And that's what I want to talk about today. Right, so one of the most important reasons for getting started in wildlife photography has to be the increased amount of time you're going to spend in the natural world. There's so much documented evidence of why being out in nature is important. And in this day and age when people are literally welded to their iPhones, it's more important than ever. You know, it increases your physical well-being, your hiking, walking, getting your body moving, increases your mental well-being because it reduces stress, detoxes you from the digital onslaught that's happening all the time. It gives your mind a time to just relax and be at peace. And by being here with the camera, focusing on just looking, watching and enjoying what's in front of you, it gives you an increased amount of clarity that I think is really important in our busy, filled, rather chaotic daily lives. It's one of the most important reasons you should all get started in wildlife photography because there's nothing better than just being out here and enjoying the wild, natural world around you. The second reason that everybody should get started in wildlife photography is all about developing a new skill. Learning and taxing yourself mentally, challenging yourself all the time is really important. And as a wildlife photographer, you're going to do that. When you get started, the onslaught of information that's going to come, you've got to understand exposure, composition, how the camera works, autofocus, all of these different things. And that's without even getting started on the field craft to actually get close to wildlife. All of these things tax your brain. They cause you to really think about things, to learn, to go into the process of teaching yourself a new skill. And that's really important because you can tool yourself out with ideas, new information, and as we all know, learning has massive benefits and it's something we should be doing for our entire lives. Wildlife photography has an added benefit that one of the key skills that you get from it is patience. Now, wildlife images might take a few hours, a few days, weeks, sometimes months and years to come together. And when you get started, the idea of just sitting in one place and watching for hours at a time might be quite tricky. So many of us are distracted these days with constant dopamine from iPhones, information, communications, everything is there at the touch of a button. But when you learn to be very present behind the camera, to really just watch and focus, you'll start to see things changing. You'll start to see that you are more present in the world. You'll have the ability to focus on one task for a long period of time, and you will find that your clarity towards actually doing and achieving things really improves. And that's something that certainly comes from wildlife photography, and it's why everybody should give it a go. Right, so point number 3 is all about accessibility, and wildlife photography is an extremely accessible hobby that anybody can get started in. I'm not talking gear, I'm talking locations. It doesn't matter where you live, whether it's an urban environment or out in the countryside, you will find that on your doorstep, there's many places you can get out and shoot. I absolutely promise you that. Having worked around the world photographing everything from polar bears to penguins, camera trapping jaguars, all sorts of stuff, some of my favourite images were taken really close to home, often in the UK and often a stone's throw from where I live. The opportunities that are around your house, where you live, are often some of the best. They're going to give you the chance to focus on the same subject for a long period of time, but also develop your understanding of an environment. And really, here in the UK, we are spoiled for choice. There's so many nature reserves, so many woodlands, so many places to get out and walk and experience wildlife. And many of them are extremely accessible, not only in terms of just being cheap, free for you to go and visit, but also for anyone from society, whether you are, able-bodied, disabled, there's so many options to get out there and experience wildlife. And that's why I truly think it's a great hobby that anyone can get started in. But right, let's talk about the sticking point of kit. So reason number 4 is that in 2025, we've got better camera gear than ever when it comes to getting out and doing wildlife photography. We are simply spoilt with the cameras that are available, the features they offer us, and how they help you in terms of actually making images out in the field. You know, modern cameras like my Z9 have eye detection, subject tracking, incredible 20 frames per second for nailing that perfect moment, high resolution sensors that mean we can print big and see every single detail on our subject. They truly are incredible machines. But I know this is a flagship camera that's really expensive, so the real benefit of all this stuff is the fact that it's trickled down to the entry-level models. You know, entry models today have many of the features that the flagships do. Incredible autofocus, wonderful tracking, loads of additional features that help you nail exposure and learn the craft of photography like never before. They truly do spoil us in the modern day and age, and are just worlds apart from the cameras of only a few years ago. Now, even if those are out of your budget, but you really want to get started in wildlife photography, well, there's even more good news, because in 2025, the second-hand market is full of exceptional cameras at bargain prices. In front of me here, Nikon D4, flagship camera from a few years back, full frame sensor, loads of frames per second, rugged ergonomic build, you know, beautiful autofocus, just really is an incredible machine. This camera, £600 used. The lens on the front of it, a 300mm f4. This is an incredible lens to get started when it comes to wildlife photography. You've got a large aperture, that means you can get those smooth out of focus backgrounds. It's nice and lightweight, easy to carry. You can use it with a teleconverter. The autofocus is fast, it's extremely sharp. This lens, £230 used. And if £600 and £230 is too much, well, you know, you could change out this camera for something like an entry-level full frame camera, D700 maybe, an APS-C camera like a D300 or D7000. Those cameras can be had for under £200, meaning without a doubt you can set yourself up in wildlife photography for under £500. That is absolutely incredible. And if that's too much, well, of course you can still get out and make great images just using your iPhone. It's just going to change a little of the subjects that you might get out and photograph. But 2025, we are spoilt for choice when it comes for camera gear to go and make some great images. And that leads me on to a really great point of an event that's coming up soon. Right, so I just want to take a moment to tell you about the photography show that is happening this weekend in the UK, in London at the Excel Centre. And it's an incredible opportunity to see many of the big brands brought together in one location. So if you want to try out some new Nikon gear, or, you know, get your hands on a new tripod, it's all going to be there to do. And it's a wonderful show that I attend every single year. Not only is it a great place to look at gear, purchase gear from great retailers, often incredibly discounted prices, it's also a show that showcases many photographers with seminars and workshops and lectures where you can really develop and learn for your own shooting. Every year I pick up something new. It might be a little tip from a retoucher, a lighting idea from a wedding photographer. There's always something to learn. I'm actually going to be doing a talk on Tuesday all about wildlife photography and my tips and tricks from a decade as a pro. So if you want to join me for that, certainly come along. I'd love to see you in the audience. And of course, say hi if you see me when I'm walking about the show. It really is a great event. It's one that I've attended every single year for more than a decade now. But yes, it's in London at the Excel Centre. I'll drop a link down below so you can find where to get tickets and all the information about the event, how to get there, etc. All of that good stuff. I'll pop it in the description. But I'd love to see you at the show. It's an incredible event and one that's certainly worth supporting. And if you want to get into wildlife photography and start that journey, it's a great place to do it. Right, let's talk about a few more reasons why you're going to want to pick up a camera. So having already discussed some fantastic reasons for getting started in wildlife photography, there really is no excuse. The idea that you're going to be out in nature, great for your physical, mental health, you'll be learning a new skill that's going to develop your cognitive abilities, all of these things. The fact it's cheaper than ever to buy gear and that it's so accessible right now to get out and just enjoy these natural places, there's no excuse that you're not Googling cameras to go and buy and get started on your wildlife photography journey. But if all of that wasn't enough to tip you over the edge, there's still other things that wildlife photography is great for. Firstly, the idea that you just don't know where it's going to take you. When I first picked up a camera, it was just about taking images of local stuff so I could show my mum what I'd seen. I had no idea that it would take me around the world photographing everything from polar bears to penguins to jaguars to lions, all sorts of different stuff, to spending hours of my day crafting images. It has been such a wild ride. And even if you don't become a professional photographer, if you just get out there and experience nature all the time, the experiences you're going to have are going to live with you for life, and you're going to be so grateful that you picked up a camera to go and do them. Along with that comes the friends and people you meet along the way. I've met so many fantastic people when I've been out shooting images. Great conversations and moments. Experiencing nature with other people is always fantastic. I met my best mate on a boardwalk photographing water voles, and I met my girlfriend at a nature reserve. And you know, those things I never knew would come from just being out behind the camera as a wildlife photographer, but there's certainly things that lift your life. And all of that together with the fact that it's just incredible fun just makes it that something everybody should go and do. The enjoyment that comes from being behind the camera, making perfect pictures, nailing that shot is something that everyone needs to experience. And if you grab a camera and get out, spend some time doing it, I without doubt know that you'll never want to put it down, because the high you get from nailing a shot and thinking to yourself, what an incredible day I've just had out with the camera, you won't ever want to give it up. And it's why every single person in 2025 should give wildlife photography a go, because you certainly won't regret it. Right, well that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for joining me for this video. Hope you enjoyed that one. Bit of a fun look at some ideas of why you need to get started in wildlife photography. I'd love to hear your thoughts on, you know, things that you've enjoyed about wildlife photography over the year. Drop them down in the comments. Love to hear your kind of little stories of what got you into it and what you love about being behind the camera. And of course, you know, don't forget about the photography show this weekend, the XL in London. I'd love to see you guys there. Say hi to me if you see me around on the show floor, and of course please come to my lecture on Tuesday in the afternoon. I'd love to talk to you guys about wildlife photography and everything that comes with that. But until the next one, guys, get out there, enjoy your wildlife photography, and I'll see you very soon.